Minnie Dlamini won Little Miss SA in 2002, and she was 12 years old at this time. She did pageants prior to that. She dominated in sports and academics and was a prefect in high school, and I think in primary school as well. Even won herself a drama award in high school. In the 2010s, she was on Live Amp, Espresso, acted on The Wild, and last year she starred in a movie called Honeymoon. She even had her own personal project, which was a short story. And I'm not really touching on that today. I'll be just looking at the 5 lessons on what we can take from her, what she's been through, the highs and the lows. The first lesson that we can say that we can learn from her is being assertive, because if you're looking at a 12-year-old participating in a Little Miss SA, it seems like something that everybody could do, but it's very strenuous. It is for people that are very confident, people that are willing to push beyond the boundary. And if you're looking at everything that she's touched, from being a presenter, which I don't know how people do it. It causes a lot of anxieties, just being in front of the camera and making mistakes in front of people. You have to be very assertive to be that person, because you have to be confident and forceful, and you have to stand for what you believe in and fight for what you want. So she's been very assertive over the years. And when you're also looking at the things that she also touched on in school, like being a prefect, not everybody can be a prefect. I know from a person who's had straight A's at some stage in her life, as much as that was possible, it was still hard, you know, to push boundaries on being a prefect, let alone dominating in sports and also competing with other people for, getting that title of being the best drama student of the year. And we also looking at things like also still taking part in other things that are going on in the world, because she was on Spirit on Sunday while she was still in high school. We then look at her in the 2010s when she was on Live, and then moved to Espresso, and also dabbed in acting on The Wild, and was in The Honeymoon in 2023. And now my voice is just burning out for some odd reason. She's been very, very professional over the years. I mean, she entered the industry at a very young age with no media training. At least this is what I think. It seems that a lot of South African celebrities don't do media training, but she managed to just know the do's and the don'ts, because you never heard from magazines or newspapers that she's a diva, or she didn't rock up for a certain event, or she was under an influence, which is not an easy thing, especially if you're young. So it's been very impressive to see her just managing to be professional, and she's been through a lot. I mean, she has a year that she lost her brother, and I can imagine how things were for her. It's not an easy thing, but you didn't see her out lashing and just tweeting out things that are out of place, and getting into fights with people, because their loss can make you act up and do stupid things. But she just managed to be professional, which is not an easy thing. Just also looking at the people that are around her, nobody seems to have a squabble with her and say that she's also this person that is never on time, and people seem to love being around her. So it just says a lot about her, and the energy that she brings forth. Consistency. This is also something we can put as number 3. She's been very consistent, because looking at a person that has been around, I know we all first heard about her in 2010. She's been around, I'd say, well, 2007, I think that was Spirit Sunday. If you're looking prior that, Mrs. Little Miss SA, and as well as Boxer ad, is somebody who's been in an industry for a while, but not that long as well. She's somebody that's managed to stay consistent, because a lot of celebrities fall off. Sometimes you're around for 2 years, and from there things just end just like that. And we see this time after time that a lot of people come in, with hopes and dreams that they'll be around, and somehow it just always just dies in the middle of nowhere. And what's also nice to, look at her and acknowledge is that she's never, as much as she is a pretty girl, she hasn't relied on that. And as much as she's got a nice body, she hasn't relied on that. A lot of people think that you can just so much just walk into an industry, like, well, when it comes to media, they think that because you're beautiful and you got a nice body, things are just gonna work out for you, and things don't always work out like that. So just looking at how she's carried herself, once again, she's managed to be really consistent. And she's not only consistent because of the experience that she's had. Yes, that helps, but you also have to also be willing to open other doors. I see this with a whole lot of celebrities. They were very, open-minded, and they tried different avenues, and this has helped them stay over the years. And what was nice about her as well is that, she's um she's dabbled in a little bit of business when she opened MD, and then she moved. I think last year or 2 years back. I'm not so certain on that. She then opened her own lounge. She doesn't necessarily own, but she is part of it, and she's also, like I mentioned, touched on a beauty product, and then from there on, she did presenting, she did acting, she started her own project. It's not easy, and she still managed to be consistent in all these things, the same things we seen her do in high school, like, getting that drama award, as well as just acting and modeling. She still managed to take all those things she liked as a kid, and she just carried on as an adult. She's just been consistent from childhood till now. And for number 4, I'll just put experimentative. She experimented over the years. She tried out modeling, she tried out acting, she tried out presenting. She then switched all the way, to also making her own clothes. And I say, a lot. I need to stop. She also touched on clothing, designed her own clothes at some stage in the early 2010s. She experimented where she felt like it was necessary, and she proved herself. Even looking at now, she still experiments, because the lounge was not something I thought she would start. Yes, she is a celebrity, but just seeing her touching on the nightlife, it's usually DJs and then musicians and so forth. So it was nice to see her willing to experiment with nightlife as well. So yeah, she's just experimentative, and this is what I think is a secret to being so consistent. I like that she's very experimentative. And this is number 5. Number 5 is actually, you know, I looked at the highs and it's a low. I feel like over the years, Minnie did so many things right. She just, she aimed so high, which was beautiful to see. But I think the one thing she failed to do was just being more secretive. I think she was very young, and so because when you in your 20s, you become because you're naive, you start forgetting how evil people can be. You start forgetting that as much as people are supporting you, you have haters as well. I don't know what she was thinking, because I'm not her. I think she felt maybe a lot of people were for her at that time when she decided to drop Mrs. Jones, which I think was a bad idea. I think that should have been something personal. She should have been married, and and then we never find out, and we just hear that she got married. Or if she gets married, don't bring the whole world into it. Don't let the cameras come in. You're already in the public eye, and people, you don't want people always giving an extra scrutiny. It's very, it's, I don't know, well, I just feel like that's where she went wrong. I'm just trying to find the words. It was just a bad idea, and I feel like it led to so much of her failures that she hasn't. I don't feel like she has failed, but it brought a lot of it brought a lot of, I don't want to say bad luck, it brought a lot of negativity, I'll put it that way. It just brought more pressure, just unnecessary attention, and people just in her business. And the people that were in her business were just people that were just trying to bring her down, because if you're looking at, she got married, 2017, and now it's about 2024, and just looking at her, yes, the wedding, for some weddings, other weddings just end in like 1 year. This wedding made it to 4 years, which is something, but just don't get married in front of people. I'm just looking at it. It just brought a whole lot of negativity, because I remember even seeing, I watched an interview of hers where she was talking about, as much as she wasn't speaking up at that time until she started, lashing out just last year, December. But those days she wasn't speaking out, and in that interview she just described on how people had ruined things for her. It was ruining her gigs, and I learned from that. I was like, I need to be, just as much as I'm not a celebrity myself, I need to be more secretive, because, like, damn, they, ruined her bag, and people just up in her business, and she's just trending all the time for stupid reasons. Because when people are in your space like that, they start thinking to know you and make up things about you. So yeah, I'll just snip it there. Number 5, she wasn't secretive enough. And I'll just leave it there. If this finds you, hope you enjoy it. And yeah.